So, did I maybe run out of almond milk creamer for my tea? Maybe. Did I instead use almond milk whipped cream to put cream in my tea? Possibly. Is it insanity or is it innovation? Because I feel like it might be innovation. So don't judge me, okay? Whipped cream in your tea is the new thing. So, yes. Hi, BookTube. My name is Asha. Welcome to Butterfly Claps. Yay! Okay, hey y'all. So today we are doing my March wrap up. So, woo woo, woo woo. March wrap up. Now, okay, guys, I'm gonna level with you. I did not make it through all of my books for March. And at first I was gonna really beat myself up about it, and then I decided, you know what? Don't beat yourself up about it, because first of all, you started in the middle of March, and second of all, you read what you can read. And that's all you can do, is try. Try, and try again. So, I'm gonna talk about the books that I got through in the last month, and yeah, we'll just see how it goes. So, if you remember, I think I had about like 8 books on the list. I had the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy, which we didn't get to. I had Spinning Silver. I had Alice. I had Legendary. Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. And After Age, Eve Brown. And I think that was it. So, out of all of those, like I said, I got through 4. Here they are. Okay, so the first one, how do I want to start these? Do I want to go with, like, my favorite first? Ooh, tricky fish. Do I want to go with my favorite? Or do I just want to go in a random order? Let's just go in a random order, because that's just too much. It's too much awesome at the end. Okay, so, but as I say that, we're starting with, like, my favorite, which was Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. Favorite, surprise favorite, had no clue that I was gonna love this book so much, because if you remember, one of my other vlogs when I was talking about Uprooted, also by Naomi Novik, that I was kind of like on the fence. Well, I said I was on the fence, but then I also loved it. So that was just a confusing book for me. But this book I just flat out love. So I gave this book a rating of butterfly claps. So good. Yes, please. Everything about this was right. I mean, I literally loved everything about this book. So, like I said, I think I said before that this is kind of like a, what's his name? Rumpelstiltskin kind of retelling-ish, but not really. Like, I think it has a whole bunch of other, like, folklore and myth, like, tied up with it, but it is, like, the whole story about her turning silver to gold. But in Rumpelstiltskin, I think she was turning straw into gold. But yeah, so it's kind of in that vein. But it follows 3 main characters, all of whom are female, all of whom are completely badass. So I really loved them. So it follows Miriam, Irina, and Wanda, and they are awesome, and their stories all intertwine and they're all connected. But basically I would say the main heroine is Miriam. She's the daughter and granddaughter of moneylenders, but her father's inability to collect his debts has left his family on the edge of poverty until Miriam takes matters into her own hands. Hardening her heart, the young woman sets out to claim what is owed and soon gains a reputation for being able to turn silver into gold. When an ill-advised boast draws the attention of the king of the stark, grim fey creatures who seem more ice than flesh, Miriam's fate and that of 2 kingdoms will be forever altered. She will face an impossible challenge and, along with 2 unlikely allies, uncover a secret that threatens to consume the lands of humans and Stark alike. Yeah, this book was just great. Like, literally, like, everything I wanted to happen happened. The way it ended, fantastic. The middle, fantastic. The beginning, Fantastic. So yeah, I just really love this book. I highly recommend it to anyone who just likes, who likes retellings in particular, but who just wants to read a good story. Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. It was the bomb. Okay, next book. Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda is the next book. I loved this book. I really did. I really liked it. I didn't know what to expect. I purposely hadn't watched the movie because I wanted to read the book before I watched the movie because, you know, the book is usually better, and I kind of just wanted to know what that was about first. And I ended up being really, really glad that I read the book first because personally for me, okay, let me preface this by saying that I didn't watch the whole entire movie. I kind of skimmed through the movie, which I would have never done, but I was just so outraged. I was so outraged by some of the changes that they made from the, like, in the adaptation of the movie from the book. I didn't like it. So, first of all, I'm sure most of you know what this book is about. It's about Simon. He's a 16-year-old, not so openly gay boy who prefers to save his drama for the school musical. But when an email falls into the wrong hands, he is at risk of his secret being thrust into the spotlight. And so now he's actually being blackmailed if he doesn't play wingman for the class clown Martin. His sexual identity will become everyone's business, which sucks. And so let me just start out by saying, Martin, I do not like him. He is a horrible human being. And yes, I cursed. And yes, I bleeped it out because I don't like cursing. But I do not like Martin. And he is the worst person in the history of people ever. I like, literally, within 5 seconds of reading this book, I was ready to chuck it across the room out of anger and rage towards Martin because I was just appalled and flabbergasted, and I know people like that exist in the real world, but it was, I don't know, it was just another level reading it. I did not like it. I did not like him. I love the book, did not like him, but that means the author did a very good job, so like props to Becky Albertalli for writing that character because you just wanted to, like, yeah, and it was confusing because he could be so sweet at times, and I didn't like it. But overall, I loved the book. I'm going to give this a rating of a round of applause. Yes, please, I would like to go to there. This book was great, and it was sweet, and it was intimate, and it was like, I think in a word, it was lovely. It was lovely. I really enjoyed it. I cried. I laughed. I got very angry, obviously. It was just a great experience, a great ride to go on. But the movie, because the movie left so much to be desired. I don't know why they made the changes that they made. And as a screenwriter myself, I know that they didn't have to change. Like, some things you have to change because they just don't film well. Some things you have to change. Like, I know some things you have to change because they just don't come across the same way as they would in the book. Because film is such a visual medium, they can't do a lot of the stuff that's like in the character's head that we get to experience, which is why oftentimes people find books better, because we get to see the inner workings of the character's mind, so we really know what they're thinking and feeling at the time, which is hard to express when you are acting or filming, because you cannot, of course, spurt your inner monologue out. Oh, spurt, that's a weird word. You can, of course, not, like, have your inner monologue streaming out, you know, of the side of your brain so that we can read what's going on and everything that you're feeling. So I understand that sometimes they have to change things because the adaptation just won't work, right? But there was just so many things that they changed that made zero sense. And so, okay, I'm going to put a big fat spoiler alert right here, okay? I'm going to get into this because I hadn't planned on it, but it just really irked me. Like, certain situations, like, the reason that you loved Simon's character and the reason why he was just, you were rooting for him so hard and you empathized with him and you wanted to give him this hug is because he was generally a nice guy. He was genuinely nice and he loved his friends, and he wasn't the kind of person who would, like, sell out his friends or manipulate his friends in order to protect his secret, because in the book he did not do that crap, and in the movie he did, and I was appalled and confused as to why they made that huge change in his character, because it made him so much less sympathetic. Like, I didn't understand it, because in the book, all he does to help Martin, and I'm gonna put help in like quotes because he really didn't, all he did to help Martin was invite him a couple of places. Like, that was it. He invited him to hang out with him and Abby a couple of times, but that was it. In the movie, he goes to Martin's house. He helps him change what kind of clothes he wears. He teaches him how to talk to Abby. He separates Abby, and I think Simon's best friend's name was Nick. He separates Abby and Nick, because he knows that they're both feeling each other, and he doesn't want that to happen because he's scared that Martin will then reveal his secret. So he tells them lies about each other so that they are less interested, or so they don't try and pursue one another. What else does he do? His relationship with Blue is entirely different. Like, the fact that Blue, like, leaves him after he finds out who he is, like, that's not the truth. Like, that's not how it went in the book. Like, they were still emailing after Blue found out who he was. He just was, like, still scared. Blue was just still scared to reveal who he was because he didn't know how Simon would react. But they, like, he didn't straight up say, oh, sorry, I can't talk with you, and, like, leave Simon hanging. He wouldn't do that. That wasn't in Blue's character. What else? They added in a bunch of, like, characters just to make, like, some kind of comedic relief, which I didn't understand why they felt that was necessary. Like, the principal of the school, who wasn't in the book at all, and who was also just, like, completely inappropriate. They made a specific scene a joke that I didn't think was appropriate, like that scene where those boys, well, in the book, the way that it happened is that after Martin had released the information about Simon's sexuality, some of the kids in school, you know, would tease him or whatever, but then also these two guys came in during their play rehearsal, and they were, like, dressed up, and they started, like, humping each other and, like, calling Simon out, and they got in trouble. They got sent to the principal's office by the theater teacher, and also Abby and another one of the girls whose name I'm forgetting, like, chased them down, like, wanted to beat them up, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's how that happened. But it was a serious, like, the point is, it was a serious thing. Like, Mrs. Albright, that was the name of the theater teacher. She was PO'd, okay? And she was like, you know, I'll make it my life's mission to get these boys suspended. This was completely uncalled for. And, you know, she was mad, and Simon was hurt, and it was upsetting, and it was a really, like, messed up moment, and it was a serious moment. And in the movie, they turned it kind of into a joke. Like, yes, it was inappropriate. Yes, it was really embarrassing, because in the movie, they did it in the middle of the cafeteria, and they were pretending to be Simon and this other character who was not in the book at all. And I don't know why they felt the need for this other kid to be a character. I don't really understand it at all, why they created this character, but okay. And so they were pretending like they were the two of them, like making out or whatever. And then when they got sent to the principal's office and, like, had the boys apologize, the principal kind of, like, it turned into this, like, bit. Like, oh, these two guys can be boyfriend and boyfriend. And they're like, oh, no, we're not boyfriend and boyfriend. He's like, oh, okay, whatever you want to call it. I don't know the term. And then the other boys who had been making fun of them laughed. And so it took away from the gravitas of the situation. And it was serious. And those boys should have been punished. And it shouldn't have been turned into a joke. And I didn't like that they turned that into a joke in the movie. Also, they got rid of one of Simon's sisters. They just had the younger sister. They didn't have his older sister, Alice, and I personally thought that she was important because she was the one who Simon talked to. I mean, he talked to both of his sisters, actually, and his other sister wasn't as young in the book as she was in the movie. Like, his other sister was a freshman in high school, and Simon was only a junior. They made him a senior in the book, I think. And then the ending... where he kind of, like, I want to say he kind of outed Blue. I'm not sure in the movie, not in the book. In the movie, like, there was this whole, like, scene where everybody met him at the fair. Okay, like I said, it was a spoiler alert. In the book, when he finally figured out who Blue was, or when he found out who Blue was and they met at the fair, it was this very sweet, intimate thing. It was only them. And then they had a discussion about the way that they wanted to go going forward, and it wasn't like Blue was forced to reveal himself in front of the whole freaking school like he was in the book, or in the movie. He was in the movie, and I just didn't understand that life choice. I don't know. I did not like the movie. I didn't like what they turned it into. The casting was fine, but I just didn't like what they turned it into. Now, that's just my personal opinion. I know plenty of people who like the movie, but I think I vaguely remember hearing plenty of people being like, wow, they really kind of changed a lot, and Simon's character was less likable. And I agree that Simon's character was less likable because of the fact that he actually did what Martin wanted, and because of the fact that he kept his friends away from each other just for his own gain. I did not like that. But the book I did like. The book I found to be lovely. It was a really quick read. I think I read it in like 4 hours. I loved it. Went through the whole gamut of emotions. This was a great book. Okay. Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I feel like I keep talking about this series, so I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on it. It was fantastic. I'm going to give it 5 stars. Butterfly claps. I loved it. Loved everything about it. The characters were amazing. Talia Hibbert delivers once again. I felt like I was so connected to Eve in so many different ways. Side note, I just realized that I am also Bridget Jones, and I don't know how I feel about that. I was watching Bridget Jones' Diary with my mom, like Throwback Thursday for reals, and I was like, oh my god, I am Bridget Jones. This is my life. And I just want to take a moment of silence for that realization. So yeah, okay. So there's that. But back to Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I loved everything about this. The characters were great. Storyline, great. The amount of times I cackled reading this book, like, and there was, oh my god, there were so many funny quotes, you guys. Like, I wrote like so many funny quotes down, which I can't really read to you because if I read them in like out of context, it's not going to make any sense. But there were just so many things. Like I said, I was like looking at my notes. I loved everything about this book. The characters were well thought out. I feel like she gave just enough backstory for you to understand what everybody was going through. Eve had a little more backstory just because we had seen her through the other 2 books. But yeah, it was great. Jacob, who was the main male character, the main male character, he was fantastic. He was really funny and awkward, but also sweet and awesome and taciturn. Like, I loved him. I loved the side characters in this book. There was, I think, 3 sisters, or 2 sisters. Yeah, they were twin sisters, Tessa and Alex. And then, yeah, Tess and Alex, and then their brother, Montrose. Montrose played the main male character, Jacob's best friend, and then the twin sisters were Montrose's twin sisters, Tess and Alex. And I loved all 3 of them. Like, I would love for them to have their own book series. Like, I would be totally about reading what was going on and what was happening with them because they were really funny and they were really engaging. And I feel like it's not often that I'm, like, super in to the secondary characters. Like, I am, like, so secondary characters are kind of funny because they kind of make a story what it is. They, like, make the book what it is, and they add a lot of flavor if they're done well. But there hasn't been a lot of times where I'm like, yes, I want to read books about that secondary character. Like, in Cassandra Clare's series, the Immortal Instrument series, I was not really excited about the fact that, what was it? Was it the 5th book? No, the 4th book. The 4th book covered Clary's best friend who turned into a vampire. Y'all, I'm forgetting his name. Was it Simon? Am I making that up? It might have been Simon. But I wasn't really excited to see a whole book about him. Like, that wasn't my jam. And I read it because I was just I was reading the series, but I wasn't juiced about him being a main character. But these guys, I'd be excited. I'd be excited to read a book about them. So yeah, that book was a great experience. Really funny, really fun ride. Like I said, all those sisters are hilarious, so it made it awesome. So, yeah, I really enjoyed that book. And the last book that I finished, Legendary, book 2 in the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber. I really enjoyed this book. I'm going to give this book a round of applause. So, yeah, 4 stars, round of applause. Yes, please, I'd like to go to there. But, you know, I found myself wondering, like, are these relationships unhealthy? like in this book, because I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like so mind you, I really, like I said last time, I really enjoyed Donatella. I was excited for her to read her story because I actually ended up really liking her in Caraval, like once the whole reveal was revealed. Really liked her in Caraval. And Scarlet was great, you know, in the little bit that she was in here, and I like both of them. But it just, so I guess this whole series kind of begs the question, like, can relationships that started with like a lie be like healthy, successful relationships, especially in the instance with these two gentlemen? Because like the people that Tella and Scarlet fall for, because it just, their whole job is to lie. Like, that's what they do. They're like, and I guess you would say it's acting, creating an illusion, but they lie. And it's like a problem that reveals itself, like, in the beginning of this book between Scarlet and I've forgotten his name, but her beau from the other book, because it's kind of just like, you can't, like, you whether you're lying, whether it's a white lie or you're lying to save someone's feelings or because you're trying to protect them, a lie is still a lie. And like, how is there trust in that? Can there be trust in that? So that kind of was the one crux for me. Like, I was just wondering, like, should these girls be with any of these boys, because it's like hard to tell. It's hard to tell whether or not they're telling the truth. So how can you truly trust them? And mostly I feel that for Scarlet, because Donatella told a lot of fibs too. She was like a queen fibber as well, just to get what she wanted. So yeah, I don't know. I'll be interested in seeing how the story develops in the finale, also called finale. Like, I'll be interested in reading that and seeing how it finally resolves itself. But the book itself, just like Caraval, did keep me on my toes. Kept me guessing till the very end. Didn't know what was going on. I thought I knew who someone was, and then I was wrong, and then I was like, oh no, I figured it out this time, and then I was wrong. So I'm very, like, so from that aspect, so good, because it kept me guessing. And again, wonderful ride. So I lucked out this month and read 4 actually really great books. None of them were a dud. So yeah, I really enjoyed those. I hope you guys enjoyed this review with all the crazy. But yeah, so I would recommend all 4 of these books. I would highly recommend all 4 of them. They're all very good. I would also recommend, if you want to get angry, reading Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda and then watching the movie and seeing how different they were and being like, WTF is going on. Yeah, that's how I felt about that. I don't know, I'm reiterating. I just really didn't like the changes that they made. But yeah. But to end on a happier note, yes, all of these books were great. I'm very happy. I'm not going to beat myself up too much for not finishing all the books on my TBR. I will get to them. I will do this. Yeah. So, that's it. That's all I got. Oh, socks. Per usual, socks. Hold the door.
They're llamas, guys. They're llamas. Aren't they cute? Look at their little llama faces. Can you see them?
Okay, well, friends, my fellow bookworms, guys and gals, until next time, see ya.